Week 2 is in the books. This represents the week from June 30th through July 3rd. We made $393 in profit, which equates to about 7% in gains. Robinhood has this new feature that shows you your options realized gains in the last week. I went and I calculated the gains and it did line up. I calculated 398, but either way, it's right within range. So this makes it a lot easier for us to track our weekly gains with all the trades that we're making in different legs of the options. We had another successful week. And now, if you want to see a full breakdown of the trades for the week, we'll go through that. Here, we're closing out both legs of our AMD put hedge from last week. So now we're starting here with a fresh start. We started to build a position in NVDA. NVIDIA has been trading near all-time highs. So the trade this week was to bet that it wouldn't go much higher in the short holiday week. So we built a position by selling the 162.5 7.3 calls and buying the 165 7.3 calls. This would be the main play of the week. It just represents a bear call spread in NVIDIA, betting that it wouldn't go much higher or it would at least stall out for the week. When we were done building our NVIDIA position, we had 8 buys and 8 sells for each leg. Next, we went to build a more long-term position in AMD calls, just in case the market continues to drift higher this summer. I think AMD still has some room to run with other semis trading at all-time highs. I decided to go ahead and buy a December 19th 140 call in AMD, which represents an at-the-money long call. I also went in and bought some protection on this position, being that we're in a market where things can happen very quickly. There can be some type of news or announcement at any time. I wanted to go ahead and buy some puts to offset the AMD call as well. The market started to trade sharply lower, or at least AMD and NVIDIA got to a point this week where they were trading sharply lower, and the puts made a big jump, the protective puts that I traded on AMD. And what I did at that point, eventually I closed out those puts for some profit and I rolled them back. So as you see here, you see all the different legs that I built in AMD and NVIDIA. At some point, I went ahead and closed out the protective puts. This was my hedge against the long puts. Closed those out for 130 on the 7.3. And then I closed out the October 17th 130 puts for a quick profit. At this point, I still did not want to leave the long 140 call just as a naked option. So I went ahead and bought more puts, but I bought the September 125 puts, which were a lot cheaper, to free up some capital to take advantage of AMD going a bit higher. So this was a bit of a flip-floppy week. The market swung lower and then the market started to swing higher. So at that point, I wanted to free up some more capital and I went ahead and built a bear call spread in AMD. So I went into AMD, and as you can see here, I bought the 145 7-3 calls. And I sold the 142 7-3 calls. Again, this position was built after AMD dropped and then it started to rise for a week. I took some profit at the puts and then I built a call position betting that it wouldn't go much higher. To close out the week, both AMD and NVDA were trading in the range that we expected. AMD ended the week in the high 130s, which made the 142 short leg of the option expire out of the money, which returned 100% of the profits we were looking for. And the same thing for NVIDIA. NVIDIA traded in the high 150s, returning the full amount for the short leg of the 162.5 call options. As mentioned, all in all, we closed out the week with a $393 gain for another strong week. We've had 2 in a row now. Hopefully, we can keep it going. We know we'll see some bad weeks, but this is good to build up a couple of wins to start off in the slower months of the summer.